Howdy, music fans. Thanks for joining me today. I'm jumping on a thread from a guy named Chris Propfe, and he has a channel called Musically Obsessed, and the thread is called Feed My Vinyl Addiction. And the idea is to show 5 albums that you think people would like, that you think should be in their collection. So I'm jumping on that thread. It's pretty difficult to come up with 5. I think I could easily come up with 100, but coming up with 5 was tough. So narrowing it down to 5. But I did it, and I just kind of told myself I'm not going to obsess on this. I'm just going to come up with something, and I'm going to come up with some really solid ones that I really want to show people, that I think people might like, that are important to me, obviously. But it's all subjective. You may like them, you may hate them. So here we go. Let's start with the first one is the soundtrack to The Harder They Come by Jimmy Cliff. And it is not just Jimmy Cliff on this album. It has Toots and the Maytals, it has the Melodians, it has the Slickers, it has a few Jimmy Cliff songs, and it is a fantastic album. For me, it's just kind of always been there. I kind of grew up with it, and I don't know, remember how I got turned on to it? Probably my brother. And it's what started me into liking the kind of reggae that I do like, which is pretty limited, but I like it a lot. The stuff that I do like. So Jimmy Cliff's "The Harder They Come," I think, is just a wonderful, feel-good soundtrack of great music. I love every song on this album, and now I've become a huge fan of all those artists I just mentioned: Jimmy Cliff, Toots and the Maytals, and the Melodians and the Slickers. I like all of them. So anyway, that's number one. Jimmy Cliff's "The Harder They Come." Next, I thought I would show you John Hyatt, "Slow Turning." I remember being a kid, maybe 18, 19, and driving around, and something came on the radio on this, and it was the song "Slow Turning," and the line was, "And I'm yelling at the kids in the back because they're banging like Charlie Watts." And I'd like to think I just drove to the record store and bought this record because of that line. This album is fantastic. It is really the turning point in John Hyatt's career after Bring the Family. But he's really kind of crystallized a sound, and he's got just every song on this album is fantastic, and it's country rock, it's rock, it's rock and roll, it's singer songwriter. I'd like to find out for you who does the slide guitar on this album, because he's known for working with some great players, Sonny Landreth and Ry Cooder. And so, yeah, Sonny Landreth is one of the Goners. This is John Hyatt and the Goners. And then Ken Blevins and David Ranson, and then John Hyatt. So that is the Goners. So Sonny Landreth is all over this album, and he is, you may already know, one of the greatest slide guitar players ever in the world. And this album, tracks I recommend are "Icy Blue Heart." That is a slow burning, wonderful story song. And "Tennessee Plates" is a really fun kind of rave up rock and roll song about breaking into Graceland and stealing Cadillacs, and after getting out of jail or being in jail and getting out of jail. So anyway, John Hyatt's "Slow Turning." Can't recommend this enough. Love this album and every song on it. Next, I thought I would do Steve Earle's "Train a Comin'." This is an acoustic album, pretty much, and he did this after he got out of jail for heroin addiction or possession, or well, not addiction, but for possession, being addicted. And it was this marks a turn in his career as well, just like with the John Hyatt. And his sound, he got clean, and he's still clean to this day. And then he has just started this string of, 15 plus records after this, and they're pretty solid. I'll do his video on him eventually. Maybe I'll do a John Hyatt one too. So "Train a Comin'" I would highly recommend. It's got Townes Van Zant's "Tecumseh Valley." It's got the "Rivers of Babylon," which is on the Jimmy Cliff soundtrack by the Melodians. It's got a Beatles song called "I'm Looking Through You." It's got a nice acoustic instrumental called "Northern Winds." Emmylou Harris guests on one of these songs. And it's got a bunch of great originals. And then there's also Tom Ames' "Prayer" is an incredible original. "Mercenary Song" is one that I actually covered on my channel. I just played acoustic guitar and sang it. That's another really great song. So I highly recommend "Train a Comin'." This is when he really got into gear. Guitar Town was before this, but other than that, this is when he really kicked it up a notch and kept on going. Next, I'm going to say Tom Waits, The Early Years, Volume 1, I believe this is. It doesn't say. It just, the other one says Volume 2. This doesn't say. So this is also an acoustic album. It's mostly him and guitar. There is, I think, some piano on it, just him and piano. And this is one where, again, I think every song is fantastic. It's a songwriter's dream. Going Down Slow, Poncho's Lament, I'm Your Late Night Evening Prostitute, Had Me a Girl, Ice Cream Man, Rockin' Chair, Virginia Avenue, Midnight Lullaby. I mean, and more. Looks like I'm up shit creek. Looks like I'm up shit creek again. So Long I'll See Ya. Everything on here. Little Trip to Heaven, I think is fantastic. So highly recommend. This is before his voice got really growly and gravelly. If you don't like that, and it's before he started experimenting with different instruments. If you don't like that, just him and guitar and maybe some piano on this. Not together though. Just him and guitar or him and piano. Okay, last one. Warren Zevon's last album, The Wind. I can't speak highly enough of this album. It's just a great, great songwriter's album also. These are also good songwriter albums. Dirty Life and Times, Disorder in the House, which Bruce Springsteen's on, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Bob Dylan cover. Numb as a Statue is one of my favorite ones on here, and so is Rub Me Raw, Please Stay. The Rest of the Night is a great party rocker. Prison Grove is kind of eerie, creepy, bluesy. Keep Me in Your Heart is just a pretty plaintive call to keep me in your heart, because he knew he was dying. And so Warren Zevon's The Wind. I can't say enough about these 5 albums. They are fantastic. They're definitely desert island albums if I had to make choices. So there you go. Thanks, Chris Propfe, for starting the thread, and I really appreciate the chance to show these 5 albums to everybody. Thanks so much, folks. Please subscribe, please like, and please comment. Great. Have a good day.